Hi, I'm Jean-Francois.
And I'm Jenny.
And in this video, we will answer the following questions. What are the steps I need to take to register my business? Now that you figured out that you want to start freelancing and you know you can afford it, you know where to find your clients, how to price your services, because these are all the things that we already explained during other videos, now it's time to register as a self-employed. And how to do so depends on which company form you choose.
So there are 3 typical ways for freelancers to start as self-employed in Belgium, or as we call it, a one-person business or sole proprietor. I still cannot pronounce
difficult
it.
Term.
The second one is through a limited company or through so-called payrolling. I myself am registered as a one-person business. In Dutch it's called eenmanszaak, and in French this is called
entreprise en personne physique. Myself, I started a limited company from day one. In Dutch, it's called a besloten vennootschap or a BV, and in French, it's called Société à responsabilité limitée or SRL.
Choose sole proprietor. Again, I cannot pronounce it. Become an eenmanszaak or a one-person business if you don't have extensive personal assets, you're not married, or you have a premarital agreement that protects your spouse from any potential claims, because it is a bit risky, more risky to have a business than to be an employee. You can choose eenmanszaak if you want to try out to be a freelancer. Also, if you want to keep administration as simple as possible, then go for the one-person business option. Again, because of the risks, choose one-person business if your services are not likely to cause damage to your customers or any other parties, even though there are liability insurances that you can take which can protect in these kinds of cases. Choose to become a one-person business if you don't know your income or that you don't expect that it's going to be large immediately. And once you grow, remember it's also possible to switch to a company form as you move along with your freelancer journey.
But you may also want to change and want to start with a limited company. And why should you change this? When should you choose for this type of form? If you don't want that your company activities to be liable for your personal assets. That's one of the main reasons why people choose to start with a limited company, because your activity might cause damage or injuries to customers or other third parties. If your earnings are secure and high enough, it will make you fiscally more interesting to start with a limited company, but those details should be asked to an accountant, of course. And if you don't mind the extra accounting and administrative obligations, because there are extra obligations when it comes to limited company, you should choose for limited company if you know you want to continue your activities for a longer periods or time, perhaps even work with other partners and get external investment.
Indeed, the choice is yours. Yeah. Please note that we do our best to keep the information up to date, but rules and regulations change often.
Unfortunately.
So before you make any final decisions about this matter, please consult your accountant or the correct governmental sources to be absolutely sure.
Yeah, exactly.
These are the steps for signing up as a one-person business. You should contact a business counter. For example, Securex, Partena Professional, Liantis, Xerius, or Acerta. So they will collect some information from you and charge a fee for setting up your company and VAT number. You will also register with a social insurance fund. In Belgium, you're obliged to pay Social Security for your retirement, parental assistance, child and healthcare benefits. And as an employee, this is deducted automatically from your salary, but as a freelancer, you have to pay for it. Yeah, and the amount of Social Security contributions you pay depends on if you're a full-time or part-time freelancer, and also, of course, on your full revenue.
Exactly.
The business counter can help you make an estimation of the amount that you will need to pay. And you will also need to hand in your so-called NACE-codes, explaining which activities you will do. We recommend that you set these as broadly as possible for accounting purposes, but not too broad, because you might need to prove that you actually do these activities if you ever get a check from the authorities. An accountant can also help you register your business, but will of course charge an extra fee for that.
Of course.
And what you will also need to do is open up a bank account, which you will then only use for your professional activities. So, Jean-Francois, what about limited company?
There are a lot of similarities because we talked about banking numbers, we talked about accountant, business counters, NASECO, the VAT, and so on and so on. So a lot of the steps that you just explained are similar to a limited company, but there are indeed some differences. One of the main differences within setting up an eenmanszaak, a one-person business, or setting up a company is having a financial plan. It's required, you cannot choose it. What should be in that financial plan is where your financial resources will come from. You have to give a full description of your activities. You have to give the opening balance, so how much money are you bringing in the company before testing, what you're going to earn as an income after 12 months, 24 months. You have to give also a detailed calculations on the expected income and how you're going to get that income, what could be your expenses for the next coming years. So you see that there is a lot of calculations that needs to be done when setting up a company. And of course, I would say for this checkup with experts such as external experts, financial experts, or bookkeepers to help you with that. Next to having a financial plan, you will also need to go to the notary because establishing a BV or an SRL will need an authentic deed from the notary. And in that deed, you will have to describe who owns the shares, how the shares are registered, with or without voting rights. The management is in the hands of one or more directors, and all the tasks of those directors, the responsibilities of those directors should be described in that deed. And I know it's kind of silly to do all this, but yes, even if you're running the business by yourself, you will need to make it official. Now I'd like to talk about payrolling. So Jenny, what is payrolling?
Well, it's basically working as a freelancer, but with all the benefits of an employee. It's a so-called salaried entrepreneur.
Interesting.
Yeah, you still have to find your own clients and you have to determine your own rates, but the days that you're working, you can ask an external company to create an employee contract for you. Yeah. So that payrolling company then creates two contracts, one with your client to confirm that the arrangement that you made with them, and the other one with yourself because they are kind of becoming your employer for that period. It's quite similar to the temping industry. In Dutch it's called uitzendarbeid, and in French it's called
travail intérimaire. And that way of working through payrolling has some advantages, of course. You don't have to adopt a self-employment status, but you can work as flexible as being a self-employed person or a freelancer. In other words, the benefits of being self-employed and the benefits of being an employee. You enjoy full protection, social protection, sick days, disability, family benefits, paid holidays, and so on and so on. So all the benefits of being an employee, plus you accumulate all the rights of being employed in the future, the pension system. You will also getting paid more quickly because it will be an official salary, so it needs to be paid quickly. You have one employer and one central social file, and last but not least, you have a minimal administrative burden. Unfortunately, if you say advantages, you have also some restrictions or some limitations to that system. You could enjoy less freedom while working through payrolling system. Why? For an example, you will have to respect the working hour agreed with the customer because again, you won't be self-employed, you will be employee at that stage. In addition, your customer's bill will probably be higher than what you agreed on. And another thing to keep in mind is that those companies who offer payrolling system obviously will charge for these services. But remember that some professions are not possible to work with that system. For example, architects, lawyers, and other regulated or liberal professions, you cannot use the payrolling system. So please inform yourself about the various conditions before you register. But at least now you have an extra option to choose from. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to Jenny, to me, leave a comment below, and we will be happy to see you in the next video.